Stand by for an important update to where BTC is and where it's headed versus US dollar, along with Litecoin versus US dollar, and the big picture of how to invest in the different phases of the crypto market. Watch the whole video. Bitcoin is slightly overbought right now, nothing dramatic. It's losing some upside momentum in all the indicators. It's a bit toppy in stochastic RSI, so we might pull back on a daily basis, which is what's already happening. I actually sent out an update to my subscribers saying we're going to get a little bit of a pullback. You can take positions again, probably even around 9,500-ish. That might happen on a weekly basis, though, however. On a weekly basis, we have a lot of room to make up. We are definitely going strongly positive, and as long as the daily pullback, which I expect to be today, tomorrow, maybe a little bit even into Monday, doesn't get too carried away, I don't expect it to by any chance, I think the weekly numbers are going to be fantastic, and we have a lot of room to roll. I have already said that we could be up in the, I need to get this out of the way, up in the 1,500-ish range, 1500. I could absolutely see that in the near term. By the time we drift down a little bit lower, the Bollinger Bands are probably going to be down around here, so that's why I pegged the 1415 area. That could be in a couple of weeks, something like that. So I don't see any massive downside momentum. If anything, I see more upside potential. But on a daily basis, we have pulled back. Totally expected. We were slightly overbought, but as most of my viewers have seen, I really knew that this was happening, and I gave it out as sort of a tradable position. Hopefully some of you took advantage of it. Now let's get to Litecoin. Litecoin is definitely overbought on a daily basis. Definitely headed down right now. I mean, we've got the crossover in stochastic RSI. We're losing momentum in EFI. CCI is also headed down. However, that's in the basis of, get a load of this, beautiful upside momentum still in place on a weekly basis, definitely still headed for, well above 250 in a weekly basis. And then once we get past that phase, there is literally clear sailing all the way past. Once we get past 300-ish, which I think could happen in a couple of weeks, we have clear sailing. Notice we don't have to double or anything like that, which Bitcoin has to do for clear sailing. All we have to do is rise, gosh, what is that? Less than 50%. And then Bitcoin has a lot of clear sailing. Now, of course, Bitcoin went as high as, I believe it was $400 or something like that. But still, there's not much resistance from 300 all the way up. So really wonderful news on that. Now let's get to a big picture for the big picture of investing. All right, if we were to look at the crypto market, the pioneers were 2009 to 11. And of course, these are mine dates. You can disagree a little bit here and there, but essentially the pioneers, there weren't a lot of people involved. I just started really getting involved around 2011. Minor bubbles all the way through 2015. I say minor. On a percentage basis, they were huge. But in terms of the dollar volume that we're at now, we were never even close to this. We were also always sub $20 billion all the way through 2015. Now in this area, if you'd hodled the entire time, you would have sat through 3 years, potentially at the worst case, 3 years where you really didn't see a return, okay? 3 years. After that, you began to see a huge return. Second tier adoption, ICO flood, 2015, 2017, still occurring somewhat now, but getting more restrained. You could have hodled this entire time and just crushed it, absolutely crushed it. Now we're sort of in the third tier. We're kind of, second tier is still here. Third tier is coming along the line. Third tier means institutional adoption. Why is that happening? Because the custodial arrangements for the hedge funds are now being put in place. And that means that it's definitely more possible for institutional money to get into our crypto space. There are some positives to that, and there are some negatives to that, as I'm sure you can imagine. I don't want to go into too much detail there, but for investing, and that's what I'm talking about here, for investing, this will probably be hodl territory for the top tier coins. As you go to the lower tier coins, I believe, this is my opinion, unless you've chosen very carefully and understand the technology and really have a good read on whether the dev team and the marketing team can make an impact, the smaller tier coins are simply going to be for trading. If you hodl them, you could see them ride down into insignificance. This is exactly what happened in the internet world. You had to pick the top tier. If you picked the top tier, it went beautifully for you. You made life-changing profits. But if you were in a lot of the smaller ones that didn't quite make it, they essentially went the MySpace route or eventually the AOL route. Of course, AOL made a lot of money for you first, but there are many. Alexa was a big internet search engine at one point and then disappeared. Google took over. So you get the idea. So that's where we're headed. We're headed to this area where if you hodl the top tier projects, you're going to do beautifully. The other projects need to be traded, in my opinion, unless you are capable or you have somebody else that you subscribe to, and I'll be working with ICOs and things like that in smaller tier, where I will carefully analyze, get into the code, get into the marketing, and say, hey, I think this project has legs and can run. It's got the financial backing. It has the sector, all that kind of analysis. But other than that, all the small ones will become more trading vehicles, not hodl. Now, we still have we still have some of the hodl philosophy that'll still work now because there are still some projects that are becoming more legitimate, but a lot of them have fallen to the wayside. And then somewhere around 2019, 2020, we're going to get a lot of these applications in the real world, in the wild. And there's going to be rapid segmentation. The winners, the losers, some of the also-rans that are in between. Winners will probably be in EOS. Cardano, we don't know. Unless Cardano comes out quickly with something viable, I think Cardano is just going to drift lower and lower in importance. Litecoin is going to be a huge winner. I think Litecoin will outperform Bitcoin. I could be wrong, but that is my opinion. That's where my money is. I think Ethereum will begin to degrade. All the new ICOs will be using other platforms. They'll be using the EOS, they'll be using a NEO, they'll be using OX, they'll be using maybe an Ignis, an Ardor, these kinds of things. Faster platforms that are capable of scaling. Even with Ethereum Casper, it'll be great, it'll be uplifting, but it's not going to answer the core issues. At least that's what I understand. But we're going to have a market segmentation. How do you trade in a market segmentation? I'll tell you what you do. You pick the sectors that are rising quickly, which platforms may be, but I think the ones that have a financial case will be better than platforms, and the financial case for platforms is a little bit weak, a little bit shaky in my book. I think the ones that have the best financial cases are like Icon, Walton, VeChain, Wabi maybe. Several ones that have real business use cases, serious business use cases. Steam is obviously doing that because they've got a social network. Somehow or another, it's got a business use case in there. EOS will probably do that to a certain extent, but I'm not really sure how their profit system is going to work. But you get the idea. They're really getting to the point where these need to start showing how they can generate some kind of return on investment, that kind of thing. Dash is great at this, and some other ones could be. So, in any case, that gives you an idea. You choose those. Those are going to rise to the top. Those are definitely going to rise to the top. And then we're going to get to mass application and real world impacts. Now here's something. This same kind of investing idea will also work in market segmentation. Here's where it is. Pick not the crypto token or project that could rise in value, and that's great. But pick the company applying the technology faster and better than other companies, and they're going to rise in value enormously. Because what they're going to do is lower their overhead, lower their admin costs, lower their speed of servicing customers, lower the friction. Those companies will generate a lot of cash flow, take over the market, basically. And there are already some people doing this in shipping and transport. The companies that Tron is working with in gaming, they're going to have a leg up. I mean, I think they will. Anyway, we'll see how it unfolds, but that's my game plan. Along with the token that they're working with. Like Tron is now beginning to catch a bit of a bid. So that's my thought. Please share your own opinion, because as we move through these different phases of the market, I'm changing my profile on how to invest. And please go ahead and go to, let's see here, CoinMarket or coinpicker.us. Go ahead and sign up if you want to get my email, which definitely, my email blast definitely talked about what was going to come to pass in terms of the rising value of the Bitcoin. I called it. I've got several emails that explain it. But go ahead and click this, sign up here, get on my email list. The premium analysis section is opening up very, very shortly. And when it does, then you'll be able to get to some unique charts and graphs that I have that will make your trading and investing really high probability, really high probability. You won't really have to worry whether, oh no, am I going to be investing and the market's going to tank? My indicators will let you know whether that's going to happen or not for the most part. But in any case, coinpicker.us. Hopefully you got some value. Please hit subscribe button and comment below and hit the like button, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you.